in order to be inspired. And wanted to welcome everybody that's just joining us as they're coming in and online. Uh, we need to know the difference. So I'm going to start there with the four different kinds of motivation that exist and how that works in order to effectuate. The idea of motivation is to get up or to get back up, either one. And it's that simple. Motivation gets us up and it will get us back up when we get knocked down. There's four kinds of motivation. The first is extrinsic motivation, which is motivation that comes from the outside. Motivation, somebody yelling at you, somebody telling you what they think of you. The danger of extrinsic motivation is that a lot of times what motivates us is voting for what other people want for us. And as you know, the danger of that is we end up getting what other people want for us and then resenting them for it. But one methodology in athletics, with coaches, with fans, the extrinsic circumstances that we put ourselves into gets us up, or it can get us back up. And so we can, watch a movie, we can listen to music, we can get yelled at by our parents, or any other sort of extrinsic type of motivation. If we rely on extrinsic motivation, outside sources to motivate us, we're at jeopardy of allowing them to demotivate us, to create interferences, voids, shortages, and obstacles for what we want. So making sure that we understand the temporary nature of motivation. Motivations to get us up or to get us back up, but in the end, it doesn't last. It's the gas in the fuel tank to get us up, but it's going to burn out. If you think about a rocket ship, all that fuel, it burns to get what? To get the rocket out of the atmosphere. But it takes inspiration to continue the journey, and it will get you to where you want to go. And we'll get to that difference. But if we allow the exterior or outside or extrinsic things to motivate us, just beware that they can also demotivate us. They can create interferences, corrosions, obstacles, voids, and shortages for us if we rely on exterior things, outside things to motivate us. The second type of motivation is intrinsic. Intrinsic motivation is done for internal reasons. And most of those internal reasons are generated by our values. And so there's four types of values, which is why, especially now, we need to take inventory of those values to keep our intrinsic motivation aligned with what we want to do, to allow us to either get up or to get back up. And those values are those foundational values. First, our personal values, right? Our family, our love, our character, our integrity, all the different things that are personal to us. The second thing is experiential. Experiential things and values internally can motivate us. I really want to experience this. And we need to be clear and take inventory on what those things are in order to either get up or get back up. And then, of course, giving values, right? So easy to get motivated when we're trying to feed our children, when we're trying to build community centers or provide scholarships or save our environment or whatever it may be. These are intrinsic values to you that must align and motivate you to do things. They come from within. And then finally, actually, our receiving values can motivate us. If we need a certain amount of money or we need a certain amount of time in order to effectuate our own values of what's important to us, that can be quite motivational. If we don't take inventory of our values, it's quite easy not to get up in the morning. It's quite easy not to get back up when we get kicked in the teeth. So it's really important that we take inventory of our personal, experiential, giving and receiving values, because the internal motivation is the one that's most sustainable. It gets the most gas mileage out of the fuel that motivation allows us. It'll get us the farthest up. It will get us back up no matter how much pressure and weight and external types of illusions or circumstances we feel are upon us. It allows us to stay motivated until we can create the habit of inspiration. The third one's really interesting to me, and we'll spend a little bit of time on it. It's introjected motivation. And introjected motivation is fear. It's ego. Interjected motivation. Now, a lot of people will tell you fear motivates me. And fear motivates. It absolutely does. Fear is one of the greatest motivations that you can think about. The problem with fear, as you know, is it creates interference, void shortages, obstacles, corrosions, and interference to the greatest source of energy, light. In other words, it avoids inspiration. Fear will get you up and it will get you back up, but it sucks your soul dry of energy. It is the least efficient when it comes to gas mileage for that fuel. It will blow through your fuel so fast, but it's powerful. You know, to allow an old grandmother to lift a car up when a baby's stuck underneath it. That's fear gives you that type of energy, that type of motivation, but it's not going to last. So we have all three of these types of things. The problem, as you know, with fear is not only doesn't it last, but it actually takes time to recover from. And it may create the wrong habits, the wrong discipline. So although fear can motivation cause incredible advancement to get up and to get back up, it also may take too much time to sustain inspiration. It may cause too many interferences, too much corrosion to what actually inspires us. That long-term goal of ours is to break through the atmosphere and cruise with gravity less speed through the universe to what we want. The fourth type of motivation is called identified motivation. And this is an illusion. An identified motivation is a stopping point. When we have identified motivation, that's, this identity that, I want to do this. I want to lose weight. I want to start working out. I want to start eating clean. I want to make this much money. I want to do this. We've identified something, either it's intrinsic, interjected, or extrinsic, one of the three types of motivations. We've identified it. It's like hitting, being born on third base, but thinking we hit a home run. It's not going to get you there. It's just not going to get you there. So many people are great at identifying motivation, and then nothing, no movement. So it's like having a full tank of gas and never turning the engine on. And so we have to be very careful when all we are doing is identifying our motivation and we're not actually motivated or moving or putting things into action in order to get up or stay up. And so we want to make sure we identify not only the motivation that we have, but utilizing the three other types of motivation. One, extrinsic, which allows us from outside, remember the danger of not voting for what other people want, but it is a good fuel efficient way to get motivated, to get up and to get back up. Of course, the intrinsic one, inside, the best one for your values, which is why you should take inventory of your values: personal, experiential, giving and receiving. And then the short-term burst, the introjected motivation, the fear, the ego, and allowing that to be utilized when most necessary, usually in exigent circumstances when we need to get motivated, but realizing that it's least sustainable and will burn through your gas faster than any other. So how does this relate to inspiration? Well, first of all, we have to know when we should be using motivation and how do we maintain, sustain, and grow inspiration. The first thing that we need to know is what inspiration is. Inspiration is being in spirit, right? Is understanding that we are always 100% of the time connected to this unbelievable source of energy, this unbelievable source of light, love, and lessons. But this energy already runs through us, right? We can actually calculate how much energy we have, how much kilowatts we have in one finger. I always say that we have enough energy in one finger to light up all of Manhattan. And that's literally scientifically proven. So how could it be anything other than we are consistently in spirit? And when we think about in spirit, we have to think about, the pragmatic side of what that means. And what inspiration is, it's the what we want to come through us for who? What we want to come through us for who is inspiration. And if we can create a sustainable model where what we want comes through us for others, what we want comes through us for others with appreciation, gratitude, and adding value, as we're the conduit or the catalyst of this, and knowing that we need to be motivated in order to what? To clear the connection between that source of power, light, and love. Motivation, when we're sitting there and feeling down or feeling lost or feeling empty, motivation clears that connection to what we want. And then inspiration allows what we want to come through us for somebody or something else. This is the actual pragmatic way that motivation and inspiration work together. And so we can be really inspired, and then some sort of pandemic happens, and all of a sudden we need to be motivated again. But I was so inspired. Things were going so well. Business was flowing. My relationships were great. I'm now out of a job, losing my house, and my wife left me. These are real life problems. Well, you can't just say I'm in spirit, because now we have all these types of interference, corrosion, objections, obstacles, voids, and shortages in our way. So we have to become motivated, and by taking inventory of our values and using the most powerful and fuel efficient way to get motivated, we can go ahead and then figure out through those values what we want from this great source that is always with us, that is walking beside us, that is within us, and that is dictated by us. And us, and our unique indicator is our values. And then we can realize and identify not only the motivation, but identify and act upon the motivation in order to clear the corrosion so that what can come through us for others. We have to identify when we have that corrosion. We have to identify. So how do we do this? Well, the number one thing is that we have to understand the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious continuum. The conscious continuum doesn't like change, right? The conscious continuum, they like what I call the comfort zone, the concentric circle where we don't have to think about anything, that it's warm, soft, nice and cozy. There's no interference, no voids, no shortages, no struggles, no pain. Well, pain is an indicator, right? Pain is an indicator. It's an indicator of that we have a lesson to learn, a spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, or financial lesson to learn. And what happens is we end up getting less motivated when that indicator comes on, instead of getting motivated, understanding that our values will help us get to that lesson faster. I always tell my teenage daughters when they get upset about things, I said, whoa. I said, do you get upset at your left turn blinker? They're like, what are you talking about, Dad? Oh God, here it goes again, right? Do you get, because all it's indicating is that change is coming and that you have a new route to figure out. You're not getting mad at the indicator, are you? No. You get excited that you might be moving in the right direction, right? In fact, if you have a GPS, why is that indicator negative? Why isn't it positive that you're now moving in a better direction, a more efficient, effective way of getting to where you want? That's what pain is. It's an indicator that the universe is taking you in a better, more efficient, effective direction of what you want. But if you're not motivated, if you can't clear the connection, you're going to get mad at the indicator. You're going to sit there and let the indicator beat you. No. Consciously, I don't want to change. I don't want to go left. I'm right. The GPS is wrong. I'm right. You're not right. When you feel pain, the universe is telling you you're not right, and you got to get motivated to learn, right, the lesson so that you can stay inspired and that you can be cognizant and conscious of what walks with you, what's inside of you, all of this kilowattage, all of this light, all these lessons that you can learn. And if you do that, right, and can repetitively do that and be motivated to do that, and if you can't get started, then lower the bar, by the way. Too many people try to go ahead and make a turn going 100 miles an hour. No, it's okay to slow down to 5 miles an hour and make your first turn and keep practicing that turn and keep practicing that turn and speeding up and speeding up. But it's okay to lower the bar. It's better to do it every single day consciously so that it becomes part of your GPS, right? What is your GPS? Your GPS is that updating memory of the subconscious, the 40,000 of the same thoughts that we have every day. That's your GPS. So what happens is our GPS has all these set directions in it. We're getting 10,000 new directions every day in our conscious. The indicator is coming on, pain, turn signal. And when pain comes on, we have to get motivated, what? To learn the lesson so that we can upgrade our subconscious, our GPS. And then if we repetitively go the right direction and we start becoming confident and we utilize and access those directions every single day consistently, persistently, without quit, in the pursuit of the right direction, pretty soon it becomes part of our hard drive, right? It's part of the big database that draws down to our GPS that then is executed through our conscious. So now that the turn signal comes on automatically because we've learned the lesson, there is no pain. There's no indicator that we have a lesson to learn. All of this happens only by understanding the difference between motivation and inspiration. Inspiration only comes when we've been motivated enough times in a row to figure out what it is that we want to come through us for who. And through that process, that allows us to break through the comfort zone into the learning zone, which expands and expands far past what used to be our anxiety zone. If we stay in the anxiety zone, if what we resist persists, we'll never change. We'll never turn. We'll always go in the wrong direction. In fact, what happens if we stay motivated, for example, by fear, the interjected motivation, if we stay, not only will we accelerate, but we'll be accelerating in the wrong direction and eventually run out of gas so far away from where we wanted to be. Motivation and inspiration not only will get you up or get you back up, which may be the circumstances now, but it will get you there efficiently, effectively, and statistically successful. What the great part about inspiration is it's exponential and accelerating as well. It's just at a slower time segmentation, where fear and motivation is quite apparent through motivation that we are expanding, accelerating, and growing exponentially. The problem is it's in a very short amount of time, kind of like what we're doing now. In a very short amount of time, we have exponential change, compressed uncertainty, and people are seeing with their senses and their memories, hey, this isn't the same. There's some change and growth. And where that occurs, we should all be inspired because that creates opportunity. It allows us to go ahead and make those changes faster, to allow us to expand and grow faster. Or if you take the wrong perspective and you utilize motivation and inspiration in the wrong way to reinforce the obstacles, voids, and shortages, to accelerate in the wrong direction, you'll just create more of a void, more of a shortage, more of obstacles as time has accelerated this change and compressed the uncertainty that exists. We have to be very, very clear on how to use motivation, all the different types of motivation and inspiration in order to get us to what we want and allow it to come through us for who we want it. And if we're not clear on all those components, we will not get to where we want to go. We won't be motivated and we will never get to inspiration, right? Inspiration is what gets us there. Understanding this. So a lot of you are sitting there going, I'm stuck. I can't get motivated. All the negative thoughts keep coming into my head, my mind, my soul. It just keeps coming. The hits keep coming. You know, I was on today with Trevor Moad, and we were talking about neutral. And we were talking about how difficult it is for people to meditate, how difficult it is for people to understand in spirit. They don't understand what actually is walking with them, is inside of them. And the interesting thing is that you can't breathe life into the wrong things. You can't breathe. So you got to be motivated to blow up the balloon. But inspiration will take you to blow up the right balloon. What do I mean by that? The minute you blow air into the wrong, the minute you speak the wrong thing, you're giving it, I think Trevor said, 70 times more power. And so imagine that you have all these choices of balloons. You have the inspired balloon that puts you to the what, through you to the who, and then you have the obstacle, void, shortages, and the negative balloons. And we're taking in all this feedback. And if we're not canceling this feedback, we start speaking and acting and believing, which is all breaths that are going into the different sets of balloons. Motivation will give you the air, but inspiration will allow you to pick the right balloon to breathe air into what you want to come through you for who you want. Don't blow air into the obstacle, voids, and shortages in your life. I see it all day long. I don't care what news station you listen to. They're breathing air at you into a negative perspective. I am not saying be uninformed. I'm saying seek what you want. Seek what you want. Motivation will get you the ability to seek, but seek what you want to allow it to come through you with appreciation for who you want it. In an abundant world where there's more than enough of everything, stop blowing air into balloons. Stop blowing and speaking into things that you don't want. And that's the danger of allowing outside things to motivate you. That's the danger of allowing fear to motivate you. The intrinsic motivation is the best motivation to get you up or to get you back up in order to put you onto your way to the greatest source of love, light, and lessons in order to effectuate it coming through you with appreciation for who you want. And if you are inspired and all of a sudden you feel negative energy, negative people, negative ideas, negative circumstancing creeping into your life, don't give it any energy. Cancel it. Cancel it right at the spot. Do not breathe life into it, because you will give it power. You will give it life. You will materialize it, and it will take its form as interference, corrosion into the connection that you already have to what is walking with you, what is motivating and inspiring you every single day. Now, that's all great to say when we're talking about emotional things, spiritual things. But what about physical and financial things? Dave, I got physical pain. I have financial pain. How does it work then? The same exact way. The same exact way. What do? We go ahead and we get motivated. We understand the segmentation, the exponential growth, the acceleration of how a penny doubles, right? Go ahead, double a penny, see where you are in 17 days. Nobody's impressed in a week. Whatever the segmentation is, I use segments of 20. Take the small increment you want, double it to 20. That motivates me. That motivates me, and I put my values and align with them in order to effectuate and be and get up and then get back up in order to do that. I used to say when I lost everything, I had one day of depression, and I lied in bed thinking about having to tell my mom that I went bankrupt and lost her house, which was the only reason I wanted to be rich, right? The only reason I wanted to be rich as a kid was buy my mom a house and a car. And I now not only had to go tell her what I thought would be the most embarrassing, degrading thing of my entire life, that I had lost everything, but I had not taken her house out of my name, and I had lost her house as well, and that she would have to move. And as I lied there being a victim, creating more interference, breathing life into how much this was going to hurt her, how it was going to change our relationship, what she was going to think of me, and now what I thought about myself, I watched the movie Rocky and watched him just get knocked down and get back up. Knocked down and get back up. Rocky get back up for himself? No. Rocky knew what he wanted to come through him for who he wanted it, right? He wanted it for Adrian. He wanted it for the people of Philadelphia. But most importantly, he wanted it for the underdog. That's who he wanted it for. He wanted it for every single person that was told, you can't do it. You're a loser. You can't win. Every time he got up, it wasn't for him. It was through him. He was motivated to get back up, to inspire everyone, to allow him to empower others, to empower others, to empower others. The greater story of Rocky that I found out later on isn't actually the movie. It's actually the making of the movie. And understanding that that movie was a dream that Sylvester Stallone had painted, right? We imagine a painting and then we spend the rest of our time painting the imagination, materializing the imagination. What he did, he wrote that movie and he had nothing left. In fact, most people don't know the bulldog in the movie, Brutus or whatever that dog's name was, he actually had to sell because he was offered, I think originally $100,000 for the script of Rocky, and he was completely broke, and all he had was his dog and enough food to eat. And he said, "I'll do it, but I need to be in the movie. This is my movie. This is for me to inspire people, for every underdog out there, for people that don't believe in it." And what he did, he turned down the offer because the guy said, "You can't be in it." And so then they came back and offered $300,000. And he said, "That's fine, but I need to be in it." And the producer said, "Nope, you can't be in it. Sorry." And so finally they negotiated Rocky, at the time, by the way, to eat, Rocky had to sell his dog. And the guy gave him $50 for his dog. That dog that was in the movie, he gave him $50 to be in there. And he went back and they negotiated in order for Rocky to be Sylvester Stallone to be in the movie Rocky. He got $30,000. They said, "You know what? You can be in the movie, but we're only going to pay you $30,000 for the script." Sylvester Stallone said, "Not a problem." He went to go buy back his dog that he sold for $50. Butkus, right? Thank you. And the guy must have been a really nice, abundant man. Charged him $15,000 to get his dog back, half of the $30,000. That's motivation and inspiration. And I lied there watching that movie saying, if I can look up, I can get up. Not for me, not to me, but through me, for my family, for my mom, for everyone else that someday may lose everything. Someone else that may have to look and get motivated by their own personal experiential giving and receiving values. And what got me through that were the value of gratitude. I looked for the light, the love, and the lessons in what I had experienced. Forgiveness. I forgave myself so that I stopped and could forgive other people. I took accountability, which I hadn't for years. I took accountability for what I did to attract myself. It wasn't the economy. It wasn't the real estate market. It wasn't all the things. It was me. It was me. And I was the one that was going to get back up, get motivated and inspired to allow what I wanted to come through me for others once again. And that's when I learned the final one of those values, which is effective communication. Effective communication, not how I could just motivate other people, but how could I use motivation in order to clear the connection to the most powerful source of energy, light, and love that I always was connected with. How I could connect to what always walked with me and within me at all times. How could I elevate myself to elevate others and elevate others to elevate myself? How could I do that? And I use this effective communication to use motivation and inspiration, clear the connection to that powerful source, allowed it to come through me with appreciation, to add value, and to be grateful, to give it to the who I wanted to give it to. So use motivation to get up and to get back up. It's a fuel. You're going to run out of it, but if you use it to break through the atmosphere, you will be riding with the greatest source of power, light, love, and lessons at all times, and it will get you there. I appreciate everybody's time. We're right on the half hour. It's time for Q&A. We're loaded up with Q&A, so let's go right to it. Do you ever think about your happiest moments in order to get inspired? What moments do you think about? Yeah, so that's called framing, and it's really important for people to use framing. Some people can use your happiest moments. Some people can comparatively use framing. I love to frame things without time as well. So for me, my happiest moments are always with my family. And as much as I say that, I'm still learning the value of being with my family, and the happiest moments of being with my family are still occurring. And if anyone's seen my latest video that my daughter did, one of my happiest moments because it's capturing what I get to experience every day. I've been to the Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, Masters, Kentucky Derby with the biggest celebrities, athletes, and entertainers in the world. And I'd much rather be at home now, sitting and having those dinners. So I think about my happiest moments and I utilize that light in order to cover any of the negative lights. And then I allow that light to cover myself. And that's what I do. But framing is a great technique to get motivated, right? One of the framing and super powers that I have is if you want to frame things into faith outside of the monetary world, when you're stuck with the blend of, money and materialistic, buying things that you don't need, buying things you don't need for people that you don't want, don't even like, you're trying to impress them, go ahead and frame stuff without time. Go ahead and tell yourself, when I make this decision, would this be valuable for me if I could live 1 billion lifetimes? Would it? I don't know. But when I frame it like that, it allows me to make those decisions in the context of faith. Next question. Thank you. Archit, while you are trying to grow your business, stress and anxiety can sometimes take a toll on you and might change you as a person a little. How do you suggest to deal with it? Well, for me, stress and anxiety is a practice to get rid of, and the practice is stop, drop, and roll. I'm a ferocious Buddha. I'll keep on telling everyone that. And the hardest part about when anxiety, stress, fear, the need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, whatever you think, whenever you have an ego-based consciousness, like the one you're suggesting, that occurs all the time in business, use all of your ferociousness, all of your free will, which is another word for ferocious. Use all of your free will and ferociousness in order to stop. Just practice stopping. But you don't have to do anything else other than identify when the stress and anxiety is causing you not to be motivated or inspired. Just stop and think and ask yourself, why do I feel that way? Use your feelings as a thermostat, not your bank account. I'm going to repeat that. Use your feelings as a thermostat, not your bank account. So how am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? Now, as you get better at practicing identifying and being ferocious, now become a Buddha. And when you answer it, breathe through your nose, out through your mouth. And be a Buddha. And let the neutrality and the calmness to pick and choose what balloon you're going to blow into now with all that deep breath. What balloon? The positive balloons or the corrosion interference balloons? The negative balloons. What are you going to breathe to life? What are you going to speak into life? What is it? Pinocchio, the lies, or Pinocchio, the boy? What do you want to breathe life into? And when you are able to do that, slowly but surely, the stress, anxiety, void, shortages, and obstacles dissipate. People stop becoming gatekeepers and start becoming sponsors and power sponsors. All right, let's keep these coming here. Thank you so much. Liam, all the way from the UK. I asked you on the phone if you still get up early on the weekends. Why do you do this and not take a day off? I'm not following suit and getting up early on the weekends. First of all, anything I do is what I do, right? Anything I do is what I do. And the reason I do it is, one, there's no risk, and two, it works for me. Anything I do means that there's no risk to me and it works for me. I wear these beads because there's no risk to me other than people laughing at me. And two, it works for me. I trace calligraphies because there's no risk to me. Look, I believe that 2 minutes a day is worth more than 2 hours on a weekend. So I need to have a routine that's a daily routine that allows me to vacation every day, right? For me, I don't want to have to take a month off. Like for me, being in COVID or being in lockdown here, or whatever this pause is, it's made very little difference because I am enjoying the consistent everyday, persistent without quit pursuit of my potential, regardless of where I am. So I live each day of my life to wake up at 4 a.m. so I can be productive, accessible, and gracious with my time. I'm studying what I have planned, what I don't have planned in my sleep so I can wake up at 4 a.m. That's for me. I believe there's activity I get paid for and activity I don't get paid for. It doesn't stop on a Saturday or a Sunday for me. And I know through results that I'm efficient, effective, and statistically successful, that I get to take advantage of exponentiality. of the X to the first on the first day, X to the second on the second day, X to the third on the third day. So when Saturday and Sunday come, I don't get X to the 0, which is 1, X to the 0, which is 1, and have to start back over on Monday at 1. It's like the myth of Sisyphus for me. I'm exponentially growing and accelerating every single day. What difference does it make that there's a man-made construct of Monday through Sunday? Go back to 55 AD. Look how many days of a year there were. I believe there's 355 of them. Seems arbitrary and capricious which days to take off if they're changing how many days are in a year, how many weeks are in a year. Seems weird to me, but that's just me. All right, stay consistent and persistent with whatever you do. How does that fit in when one is in a state of like, not interested, no desire to do more than where we are? Like when you are good, but don't feel like growing. You aren't 100% happy, but you have no financial issues. Everything is fine, but days just go by, if that makes sense. Yeah, it does. It sounds boring. Talk about being stuck. If you're not growing and accelerating, you're stuck in the same place. You know, for me, this is for me, I would pick and choose. If you're financially secure and you have nothing to do, I would pick and choose somebody I could help. Because as good as you may feel, not great, as you said, and as comfortable as you are, not uncomfortable, I would use that to my advantage by feeling great, by using the thermostat of feelings, knowing the great truth of the world is that there is nothing that will stop you from feeling better than helping somebody, empowering them to be happy, to empower others to be happy. Think about it. You have this unbelievable power of productivity, accessibility, and gratitude. Give it away. Give your life away if you want to be fulfilled to its greatest capacity. Give your life away. If you are in the comfort zone, go back into the learning zone and give your life away. I promise you, you'll feel better. Better than good. I promise you, guarantee it. Brooks, Dave, my natural tendency is to be lazy in things that aren't very exciting to me. I believe that how you do anything is how you do everything. So how do I go about becoming inspired to do the things I don't want to do in order to build strong habits and killing my laziness? Great question. Everything's an activity. And within the context of the activity, whatever activity you give me, I will tell you what percentage that I automatically love to do. I will find, oh, you know what? I love that part about making my bed. Might be 1%, it might be 90%. But my focus is always in what motivates and inspires me is, can I learn to love the percentage that I don't automatically love? And if you take this perspective into what you're doing, you're going to find life is more interesting than interested, right? You're going to find excitement and passion and fulfillment in your life when you're looking to learn, how can I love to do everything? How can I love to do everything? It's not going to come naturally. You're not naturally going to love everything, but you have the capability. Everybody has the capability, everyone, to learn to love everything that you do. It's only activity. And I break it down as activity I get paid for and activity I don't get paid for. And that helps me learn to love what I do, because some things I can just love to do because I get paid for it. You know, I had a friend, a client in the business world, and he's like, Dave, I get so many emails. I hate emails. I said, you don't hate emails. No, I hate emails. I said, you can learn to love email. No, I would do anything not to have an email or send an email. I said, come on, man, I'll tell you what. I'll give you $1,000 for every email you send and $2,000 for every one you receive. Started loving emails. No, I didn't love paying him, nor did I pay him, but I was just making the point. Get it? Learn to love what you do. Find a way. That's why I utilize activity I get paid for, because if I get paid for it, everything comes through me for others. Every dollar I know where that percentage goes to, whether it's my family, my associates, my community, my state, my country, or the world. And it excites me. So I know automatically by distinguishing activity by whether I get paid or not is a way to learn to love it, because I appreciate what I can do by getting paid. I add value, and I'm grateful for everything, the what money that comes through me for who, all of those people in my downstream. Jesse, thanks for this. Where does determination fall into? Motivation or inspiration? Sometimes I feel determined, but don't know if that's short-term or long-term. It's both, right? So I'm determined to get up. I'm determined to get back up. I'm determined to sustain my energy and to grow. I'm determined to grow. I'm determined to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential. The answer is both. And you need to stay determined. That's why the whole philosophy of happiness is enjoying, having a perspective of the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of your potential. What is your potential? Your potential is the recognition or acknowledgement of the what you want and the greatest source of power, light, and lessons that to come through you for the who. Very simple. What movies and books do you find most inspirational? Rocky. Let's start with movies. Miracle on Ice, Rudy, great inspirational movies, mostly sports movies, obviously. For me, books, inspirational, Course in Miracles, Think and Grow Rich, Dr. Wayne Dyer's Power of Intention, unbelievable inspirational books. Oops, this one's not so bad either. It's a very inspirational book, Connected to Goodness. I read my own books to remember what the hell I'm talking about. As the world is facing crisis of COVID-19, which makes a lot of people lose their jobs, what do you recommend? If you are getting knocked down, if you need to get back up because you lost your job or you don't have money or any of these physical pains that are existing or financial pains that are existing, what do I say? Let's go focus in on your capabilities. Capabilities are the aggregate of your skills. Look and see, take inventory through those intrinsic motivational tools I gave you, personal, experiential, giving and receiving values. Look and see what skills you have today and what skills you can develop for tomorrow that are synergistic or supplementary to stuff that's doing well right now, or at least stabilized right now, or you believe will be doing well in the future. And if you do that with your skills and also do that with your knowledge, what knowledge do I have today? What knowledge would I need in order to be synergistic or supplementary to what's doing well today, what's doing well stabilized today, or what will do well in the future? Then you will find the motivation and inspiration in order to effectuate your capabilities. Once you heighten and elevate your capabilities, you'll have more opportunities and more options into what you want, the what through you for the who. It's just systematic and mathematical, but you have to lower the bar enough to say, I'm going to create this skill. I'm going to learn how to use, Premiere editing tool, or I'm going to write a blog or a podcast or a book, or I'm going to learn the engineering of how to repair a cell phone. I have seen guys make money from baseball cards to cell phone repairs to selling things on eBay to making things. I have clients everywhere making money right now. The biggest issue for my clients right now are they feel guilty, and now I'm fighting them going, don't feel guilty. You can be rich enough to make everybody else rich. You can't be poor enough to make anyone rich, I promise you. So if you're rich out there, help other people become rich. Isn't motivation in some ways intrinsic to inspiration? Feel like when you are inspired, you usually immediately desire to take action, motivation, no? Yeah, so there you're getting into the distinction, right? You need to be motivated in order to get inspired. Right? You need to be motivated to clear the interference between that in which you're already connected to, the greatest light of love and lessons. And what happens is we can be inspired, get knocked down, and then we got to get motivated to get back because we have to clear that interference that was created by whatever external circumstance. And once again, it's not just intrinsic. It can be extrinsic, introjected, and it could just be an identification of motivation. All four of those are omnipresent. You have to choose the most powerful one, which by me is intrinsic, which is value-based, not fear-based, not by other people, which is a false enthusiasm, or just identifying it. Hopefully you understand that distinction. If you don't understand that distinction, I'm going to send out free to everyone the motivation versus inspiration guide. So free, don't worry, I'm not selling anything. I promise, still lovable, cuddly Grover at the end of the story. Get it, just request it from me. You can text me at that number if you wanted, or email me or DM me at those right there. All right. David, what are your intrinsic motivations? So for me, my number one is my health. So I spend a minimum of 1 hour a day on my health. 2, it's my family. So I spend a minimum of 30 minutes a day with my wife, 30 minutes a day with my 10-year-old son, a minimum of 2 minutes a day with my daughters, and a minimum of 1 minute a day with my mom. I make sure my mom knows 4 things. And these are the 4 things, if my kids are listening, that I want to know about them. 1, that they're healthy. 2, that they're happy. 3, that they love me. And 4, they appreciate me. Appreciate me? Yes, they add value to my life, and then pass that through them to others to add value to other people's lives as well. So those intrinsic motivations for me. The third and final one, beyond my health and my family, is being more interested than interesting. It's a personal value of mine, which has dictated the fact that I study so many different things. I study my calendar. I study, meaning I pay attention to and give intention to the coincidences I want in my life. So the third intrinsic motivation is the motivation of being more interested than interesting, to be in attention and intention oriented, with the realistic expectation of coincidences will occur from those activities. Joseph, thank you, Maria, for that question, by the way. Joseph, hi, David, it's Joe. Always curious about Barney, networking and connecting. A friend asked me to help his connection find an apartment in New York City. The connection starting a medical residency and coming from Lebanon. There seemed like an opportunity to have him pay me something for my trouble. First of all, it's not trouble to help somebody, but I passed. It's a difficult situation, and it felt like I'd be taking advantage, plus feel like karma is a thing. 500 now, or maybe a strong relationship with a doctor in the future with more trust and opportunity to grow together. Make sense, or did I miss an opportunity? Both. It makes sense, and you missed an opportunity. If you manage expectations and say, look, are you comfortable with compensation for doing this, and figure out and agree upon the compensation and explain your intent that, look, I'd love to be able to help you. And in order for me to help you, it's going to take some time, effort, emotion, whatever it is. And I have valuable relationships. There's certain relationships that I have, silver bullets. I can't go to Jerry Jones every day and say, hey, meet my friends Steve, Joe, Mike, Sally, Colleen. That's not going to happen. Those are silver bullets. I'm going to have to monetize those. And if I explain and articulate and effectively communicate the value that I'm going to provide is $100 worth of value, and all I'm asking is 20 back, I'm actually giving them $80. Can you see any reason you won't want to move forward? Or if my expectations are simply, look, I don't want anything today, but I would like to grow this relationship. This is why I'm spending the time, emotions, and dollars to do this. Go ahead. Not only articulate it, put it into writing. Tell them, look, I'd like to put this into writing. Not because I don't trust you, because I have a horrible memory and I want to remember what I promised to do for you. Does that sound fair? So both is the answer for you. I don't need the money now. That's fine. It's still, I don't need the money. Like, you know, I could pick 50 people and coach them for free, right? But I know what I want to come through me for others. And I know that the big CEOs that I coach and that I make, you know, if someone pays me $50,000 in a month to do something and I make them $1 million, I don't need the money, but I am providing more value. All that money goes through me for others. I'm helping people. The minute you change your direction of me to we, the minute you change your direction to just having enough for me, being filled, buying things just for you that you don't need, to impress for you people you don't even like. Once you shift that paradigm and say every dollar I get is one step closer to a school in Africa, is one more kid that can go to college, is one more kid that gets to eat right now, is 1,000 more masks that I can donate. I don't know what it is, but the minute you change that focus from the what you want to the who, you're going to be motivated and you're going to start saying, you know what? I don't want $500. I want 1,000. I'm inspired to change the world, to empower others to be happy. So don't apologize for providing value and creating profit. Apologize if you're not a profit center. Guarantee your profit. That's all you got to do. There's no harm, no foul, no resistance, no voids, no shortages, no diminished capacity by making people money and being a profit center. Stop apologizing and feeling guilty for providing value. You're slowing down the economy. You're creating interferences, voids, and shortages. Stop it. Stop feeling guilty. Feel great about the fact I just made all this money and provided all these things for my community. And I have identified what I want, a ton of money, so I can help a ton of people and have a ton of fun myself, because I know that that process is inspirational, and inspirational makes me feel good. And my thermometer is how I feel, not my bank account. Not my bank account. I don't care how much money comes through that bank account, but I'm motivated and inspired to allow it to come through there. Have you ever spoken to Jordan B. Peterson? Maybe. The name sounds familiar, but I have tons of people, and anyone that knows me, even my family, is like, oh my God, I can't believe you can't remember, but I can't. I'd like to if he's someone that I should talk to. Please invite him to talk to me. What is the best way to filter out distractions? Whew. Clarity, balance, and focus. There's always distractions. There's more distractions today than ever because there's more going on in your hands and billboards and street. Trust me, you ever been to the outskirts counties of Indiana in the early 90s? I was cruising down the 31 and the only distraction I ever got was a tornado that was it looked like 15 miles away. That was the first time I ever got distracted. Otherwise, it was corn or some sort. I'm not a California kid, but it looked like corn. So, what's the best way to filter out distractions? To be clear on what you want, to balance it with your own values, and to get focused on what you want to come through you for others so that you stay inspired, that you have a clear connection between you and the most powerful source of love, light, and lessons. That's how. When you're focused, there are no distractions. Look, all it takes is one distraction. What's the difference if there's 100? Right? Look, a TV is a TV. When I was little, there's 3 channels. It was distracting with 3 channels. If I had to hear, when they launched cable TV, if I had to hear Joan Jett put another nickel in or whatever song it was, do you know that MTV used to play the same song all day long? It was still distracting. So if you're not focused, you're distracted. You got that? So get focused by getting clear on what you want, balance it with your values, and get focused on it, meaning attention plus intention on the what that's going to come through you with appreciation for who. Know those 3 things: inspiration versus motivation. I made a decision motivated by fear, false evidence appearing real. I am listening to, that's right, false evidence appearing real, fear. I am listening to you, and all makes sense why I'm not satisfied with the decision fully. Is it possible to change the possible negative outcome since I am stuck with the decision? Meaning I cannot pull back now. Can I make something good of it at the end? Whether you think you can or you can't, either way, you're right. Whether you think you can or you can't, either way, you're right. You can try. And guess what? If you pay attention to making a difference, if you give intention to creating and re-engineering and all of the things that you need to do for a different outcome, that's what probably will occur. But you have to be consistent, persistent in the pursuit of it. You have to be able to illuminate where you're at and then create a plan with whoever aligned with your values in order to effectuate something that's not fear-based. I promise you, if you try, you'll get much closer to where you want to be than if you don't. Guaranteed. All righty. A couple more questions. Kyle. Hey, Dave. Kyle Anderson, IG, at New Life Speaker. Give him a little prop here. I am inspirational speaker who inspires all as I am traveling the world, has been doing for the past 12 years. I've definitely been patiently waiting. Currently, I'm working on a pilot film, so my mission is to teach consciousness and patience by everyone now. Watching me go slow and meditate on the new show, I am there. I know meditation alignment is all, so I need to teach others I am a teacher. I'm looking for next step. Think it's just continue to focus. I'm sure everything is always working out for me. So in its own convoluted way, what I would do is once again, check out the segmentation of what you're doing. Go ahead. There's an analogy I use with my kids. I can, especially my 10-year-old, I don't see him growing. Everybody else that sees the videos of him, the pictures of him, or get to see him in person, like, oh my God, this kid is growing like a weed. I don't see it. I don't see the acceleration in him. I don't see the exponential growth that everyone else sees. Until what? Until I got to go buy him clothes or shoes. Then all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, 3 weeks? Dude, half the size in 3 weeks. Why can't I see it though? Because my senses are weak and my memory is weaker. My senses are weak and my memory is weaker. And so I have to what? Put faith in the fact that that which I put my energy in to grow, that which I put my energy in to accelerate my children, that they will accelerate and grow. And I don't have to see the outcome. I don't have to segment it out and see it every single day. I trust and have faith in the fact that my attention and intention into the coincidence that I want for my children, acceleration and exponential growth, will happen. It will manifest itself in whatever time frame it is. That's exactly what you need to do with your speaking career, the exact same way. What strategies do you use to help people in your business connect to what inspires them? What strategies do you use to help people in your business connect to what inspires them? Well, I mean, for me, it's the strategy of cancel, clear, connect. We're talking about breathing life into things and understanding the 4 values of gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration. You know, it's repetitive within my business. There's only 4 things. All these people that want to come work for me, and there's more and more every day now because of where we're at and where the economy is at and what's going on. All you're going to learn is gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and effective communication and inspiration. So those are all there. Hi, what do you do when you want to inspire the one you love, but she actually does not believe in inspiration because of how she grew up? First of all, you can't change the way someone believes. Don't try to change anyone. You can understand where they are coming from and then provide an example, or you can pray for their happiness. So for me, constant understanding and illustration are the 2 ways that people effectuate change without any resistance. Remember, when you tell someone to change, what you resist persists. When you tell your kids not to eat broccoli, you know, that's not going to work, right? When you understand and say, hey, you know, what do you like about broccoli? What don't you like about broccoli? Have you ever done this? And then you eat your broccoli and sit there every day going, I love this. Oh, pretty soon your kid might say, hey, can I try that? Happened to me with trash. Trash was kryptonite to my kids, and I learned to love trash, put my energy into loving trash because it gave me time to think about what I wanted to be happy. All of a sudden, my teenage daughter's like, hey, I'll take that out for you. Not an accident. All right, last question. Is having a pet leave on non-effective communication bad to have? Having a pet leave on non-effective communication bad to have? Not sure what that means. Sorry. How do you detach yourself from your happiness? So don't detach yourself from your happiness. Detach your happiness from the outcomes, right? Attach your happiness to the pursuit. Attach your happiness to consistency. Attach your happiness to persistent. So if you attach your happiness to enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit, you'll always be happy regardless of your potential and the outcome that you desire or the outcome that you manifest. It's all about shifting the perspective of what makes you happy by learning to love with the lessons and light in which you are looking at everything you do, all activity. That's the secret. That is the secret. Enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your happiness, right? There is no pursuit of happiness. There's no happiness attached to an outcome. Happiness is the pursuit. So enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Remember the 4 motivations that we have. Identify motivation, extrinsic from the outside, be wary of voting for what other people want. The interjected ego, the big boost motivation, and then the one that I love is the intrinsic motivation that allows you to get up or get back up in order to be inspired. To be inspired, all you got to do is know what you want, clear those connections through motivation to allow it to come through you with appreciation to the who that you want to have it. It's that easy. And I'm going to send you my free guide. Just go ahead, reach out to me at David Meltzer or dmeltzer.com or david@dmeltzer.com or 949-298-2905. Text me, join my text community. You'll get all the updates, all the free guides. I am so grateful for all of you. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll catch you next week. Every Friday, we're here to find over 1 billion people to empower to be happy. You can be one of the 1,000 to empower 1,000 to empower 1,000. Join me every Friday. Invite your friends, family, associates. Watch the replay. We'll send that to you as well. come get your free guide for the motivation versus inspiration, or any of the past ones we've done as well. Thank you so much, everybody. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds.